So picture this scenario for a second. You've just launched this massive marketing campaign. You spent weeks, obsessing over the copy. You dialed in the design, and your lead generation pop-up is working like an absolute charm.
Yeah, capturing hundreds of new contacts, right?
Exactly, hundreds. You're looking at your dashboard, you're watching those numbers climb, and you're feeling like a total genius. But then the rubber meets the road.
Always does.
Right. Your sales team starts calling those hot new leads, or, you hit send on this carefully crafted welcome sequence, and complete disaster strikes.
It's the worst feeling.
It really is. Half the emails just bounce back instantly. The phone numbers go straight to disconnected tones. Suddenly, that massive list you build feels less like a gold mine and, more like you've just printed a massive stack of blank checks for your ad spend, just throwing money into a void.
Yeah, it is an incredibly frustrating realization. And I mean, it happens constantly in digital marketing. In that precise moment you discover you haven't actually captured a list of potential customers, you've really just captured a database of expensive errors.
And that's our mission for today's deep dive. We are exploring the critical, yet shockingly overlooked world of data validation in lead generation pop-ups.
It's a big one.
It is. We are pulling our insights from this really comprehensive breakdown over on the Verificker Emails blog. It's titled Data Validation in Forms and Pop-ups, How to Capture Quality Leads. And I gotta say, going through this material, it completely alters how you view every single form on the internet.
Oh, for sure. I think the core premise we have to establish right out of the gate is that capturing a high volume of leads is utterly useless if the quality of those leads is compromised.
Yeah. Volume means nothing without quality.
Exactly, because a single bad contact actively creates this huge ripple effect of administrative and technical nightmares. It damages your sender reputation with internet service providers when those emails bounce. It stalls your complex marketing automations. And, it just corrupts the entire segmentation logic in your CRM.
Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this. Because we all intellectually know bad data is a problem. But we tend to view it as a malicious attack. We think people are out there actively trying to sabotage our forms.
Right, the hacker in the basement mentality.
Exactly. But looking at actual user behavior, it seems far more likely that we are just dealing with clumsy thumbs and tiny screens. You're basically casting a fishing net and catching as many old boots as actual fish. Are most of these errors malicious, or are people just clumsy?
Honestly, it's mostly the clumsy part. The calm voice of reason here is that the mobile context dictates almost everything about modern form fills. Users are tapping on a really small digital keyboard while, walking down the street or holding a coffee or half watching television.
Yeah, do that all the time.
Right. Accidents happen by default. A missing at symbol, an accidental space, or just swapping two letters.
Oh, the classic gmail.com or hotmail.com typo.
Yes. The tragedy of the gmail.com typo is that it easily passes basic syntactic formatting checks. A primitive form scans that text and concludes, well, it looks like a standard email address. But that specific domain doesn't actually exist to receive mail. So a user genuinely wanted your product discount, but due to a fat finger mistake that they didn't even notice...
They never receive it.
Exactly, they never receive it. And the business loses a genuinely interested prospect. It's a tragedy for both sides, really.
It's a complete lose-lose. But, we also have to talk about the deliberate fakes.
Oh, yeah. They definitely exist.
People do type keyboard smashes, like asdf@asdf.com, just to bypass a gate. And looking at the source, this behavior is, it's entirely driven by how we design our incentives. If a business offers a reward, like a 20% off code on the screen immediately after the user hits submit, we're actively begging them to lie to us.
We really are. We are training them to bypass the system because they know they don't need to check their inbox to get the prize.
Right.
And beyond simple keyboard smashes, the source highlights a much more sophisticated problem: temporary, disposable emails.
Okay, wait, I want to drill into that. How do those actually work?
So there are these automated services that allow a user to click a single button, and it generates a functional email inbox that exists for exactly 10 minutes.
Just 10 minutes? Wow.
Yeah, 10 minutes. The user inputs that temporary address into your pop-up. They receive your automated email with the download link or the coupon code, and then that inbox just self-destructs. The server is completely wiped.
That is wild.
Right. And 10 minutes later, you are left holding a ghost contact that will permanently hard bounce any future marketing emails you try to send to it.
Which hurts your reputation.
Exactly.
And We can't ignore how bad form design essentially forces users into these behaviors. I mean, we've all filled out a long form, made one tiny error, and upon hitting submit, the page refreshes and clears every single field.
Oh, that's the most infuriating thing on the web.
Right. Or you get a generic, aggressive red box screaming invalid data without any context on what you actually did wrong.
Yeah.
Like, a form that castigates the user or demands they start over from scratch is just asking for a high abandon rate.
Users will either bounce immediately or they'll just smash random keys in pure frustration to force their way through.
So we're battling fat finger typos, fake domains, self-destructing disposable emails, and deeply frustrated users.
Yeah, so the war zone out there.
It really is. And a simple line of code checking for an @ symbol clearly isn't going to cut it. We need a layered defense. And the source breaks this down into 3 distinct, separate layers: validation, verification, and consent.
And understanding the mechanical differences between these 3 layers is, I would argue, the most crucial takeaway for anyone managing a database.
Definitely.
Because they operate at entirely different times using completely different technologies.
Let's pull these apart. So layer 1 is syntactic validation. This is purely asking, does the input look structurally sound? For an email, it checks if it matches the standard formatting rules. Or for a phone number, it ensures there are only digits and maybe a country code plus sign.
Yeah, and under the hood, this is usually handled by regular expressions or regex running locally in the user's web browser. It evaluates the string of text instantly.
So it's super fast.
Extremely fast. It stops the most obvious errors, like someone typing their actual name into the email field without requiring any server resources or causing any loading latency. But, and this is key, looking structurally correct doesn't mean it reflects reality.
Which brings us to layer 2, technical verification. This steps away from the browser and asks, does this destination actually exist? This is a server-side process, which is exactly what a platform like Verificker Emails specializes in doing.
And the mechanics here are fascinating. For an email, the verification platform reaches out across the internet to query the domain's mail exchanger or MX records. It essentially knocks on the door of the receiving mail server and asks, is this server operational, and does this specific inbox have the capacity to receive a message right now? And it does all this without actually sending an email to the user.
That's so cool. And then we hit layer 3, double opt-in and consent. This asks a completely different question. Does the human behind the keyboard actually want to receive our communications?
Right, the human element.
Yeah. This is the automated confirmation email requiring the user to click a verification link.
And there is a massive legal distinction here that marketers frequently misunderstand, especially regarding frameworks like the GDPR in Europe.
Oh, for sure.
Technical validity and legal consent are 2 entirely separate universes. Just because a server pings back and confirms an inbox exists does not grant you the legal right to send promotional material to it. You still need explicit informed consent from the human owner of that inbox.
I love how mapping this out clarifies the boundaries. Think of it like this. Validation is quickly glancing at a phone number to make sure it has the standard 10 digits.
Okay.
Verification is quietly pinging the cellular network to see if that specific line is actually connected. But double opt-in is physically calling the number, waiting for the person to pick up, and asking if they want to have a conversation with you.
That analogy perfectly isolates the 3 functions. And, it explains why you cannot just choose one and ignore the others.
Right.
Double opt-in is the absolute gold standard for legal consent. But it introduces massive friction. You will inevitably lose a large percentage of prospects who simply forget to open their email and click that confirmation link.
Yeah, they just get distracted.
Exactly. Whereas form validation has 0 friction, but it offers 0 proof that you have captured a real way to contact the person.
Here's where it gets really interesting. How does a modern pop-up actually perform these complex server-side checks in real time without completely ruining the user experience? Because if I'm building a capture form, I need it to be lightning fast.
The modern architectural approach is remarkably sophisticated. Tools like the Verificker Emails pop-up builder, they handle these checks in milliseconds.
Milliseconds.
Wow. Literally. And it's not just emails. They can technically verify phone network status using something called an HLR lookup, alongside checking postal addresses and even names.
Wait, I had to pause on the phone number part.
Sure.
I understand checking if an email server exists, but how do you verify a cell phone number is active without actually making the person's phone ring in their pocket? Like, how does that work?
It uses a query to the Home Location Register, or HLR.
Okay.
The HLR is this central database managed by telecom networks that stores details of every SIM card authorized to use that network.
Oh, interesting.
So the API sends a tiny silent data packet to the cellular network's signaling system. It checks the SIM card's registration status in real time. If it's a deactivated SIM or just a completely fake number, the telecom network instantly reports back as absent or unknown.
And the phone never rings.
Exactly. There is no phone call placed, just a rapid data transmission validating the hardware's existence.
But, I mean, introducing all these external API calls sounds incredibly fragile to me. What happens if the global telecom database is undergoing maintenance? Or, what if my specific account just runs out of its monthly verification quota right in the middle of a massive Black Friday traffic spike? Does my pop-up just freeze and stop collecting leads?
No, and that's a great question. The source outlines a brilliant engineering principle called the fail-open philosophy.
Fail-open.
Right. Enterprise-grade systems are built on the assumption that external dependencies will occasionally fail. It's just a reality of the internet.
Yeah.
So if the verification service fails to respond within a really tight timeout window, or if you hit your API limits, the form does not block the user.
Okay.
It prioritizes the capture, it accepts the lead data, but flags it in your database as pending verification. A back-end technical glitch is never allowed to crash your front-end lead generation.
Prioritizing the capture makes total sense. But I still have concerns even when the tech is working perfectly.
Okay, let's hear them.
Let's say I configure my pop-up to strictly block bad emails. It literally prevents the user from hitting submit until the server verifies the email. Doesn't checking this in real time add lag? Like if I'm an impatient shopper and a form pauses, thinks, and then throws up a wall telling me I'm wrong, I am highly likely to just close the tab and buy from a competitor.
And you wouldn't be the only one. Strict blocking is a very blunt instrument, which is exactly why the platform offers customizable action rules.
Okay.
You have the option to strictly block, yes, but you can also deploy a polite warning approach, or choose to validate completely silently in the background. The polite warning often provides the optimal balance between data cleanliness and user experience.
Walk me through the psychology of the polite warning.
Well, instead of a harsh red error state screaming invalid input, the form tentatively accepts the data but flashes a gentle, helpful message.
Like what?
Something along the lines of, please double-check your email. It seems this inbox might not exist. It completely removes the accusation.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it frames the system as a helpful assistant nudging them to fix a typo before moving on. Furthermore, because the verification status, whether it's valid, invalid, or pending, is attached to the lead data and pushed directly into your CRM, the marketing team can make intelligent routing decisions later, rather than the form just deleting the prospect entirely.
Right. You capture the data, but you capture it with deep context.
Exactly.
Let's apply this context to real-world businesses, because a B2B enterprise software company and a local Shopify boutique, well, they shouldn't be using the exact same action rules.
Definitely not. And the source provides several practical scenarios that illustrate how to deploy these rules effectively. Let's look at B2B downloads first, like a company offering an industry white paper.
The classic white paper trap. People desperately want the PDF, but they absolutely do not want a sales development rep calling them for the next 6 months. So they input fake information.
Yeah.
You could block them with real-time verification, but I want to challenge a common practice here. Some B2B forms use custom rules to block all free domains, like Gmail or Yahoo. Isn't that dangerous? I mean, a CEO might be doing industry research on an iPad on a Sunday morning using their personal Apple or Google account.
It is incredibly dangerous. Blocking free domains is a legacy B2B tactic that frequently backfires in today's hybrid work environment.
Why?
You risk blocking highly qualified decision makers. The vastly superior mechanism, which the source heavily emphasizes, is delivering the requested asset via email.
You eliminate the immediate on-screen reward.
Yes.
You don't put the PDF download link on the thank you page. If they provide a ghost email or a typo, they never receive the white paper. The incentive to provide fake data just evaporates completely.
It's a game changer. Contrast that strategy with an e-commerce environment. Imagine a direct-to-consumer brand offering a 15% discount code for new subscribers.
For that specific scenario, I would assume strict blocking is totally necessary. If they type hotmeal.com, That automated email containing the discount code is going to hard bounce immediately.
And at high volumes, those bounces are catastrophic.
Hmm.
Internet service providers like Google and Yahoo, they constantly monitor your sender reputation. If their algorithms see you repeatedly trying to deliver mail to dead or non-existent inboxes, they flag you as a spammer.
Which ruins everything.
It really does. Soon, your transactional emails and marketing campaigns to your valid customers start getting routed straight to the junk folder. Real-time strict blocking in e-commerce protects your overall domain reputation.
What about a scenario with zero immediate reward, like a wait list for a highly anticipated product that hasn't even launched yet?
A waitlist requires silent background verification. Because you aren't giving the user anything in the moment, you want absolutely zero friction on the front end.
Makes sense.
Allow them to submit the form instantly. Let the server evaluate and categorize the data as valid or invalid quietly in the background. Your team can then scrub the database and remove the invalid entries weeks later, right before launch day.
I want to dig into the UX rules the source mentions, specifically regarding how we design these error states on the front end. It specifically calls out relying on a red border around a text box.
Right. Relying solely on color to convey meaning is a direct violation of the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If a user has red-green color blindness, a red border means absolutely nothing to them. They just see a box. You must always pair color changes with clear iconography and descriptive text to explain the error state.
That's such an important point. It also brings up the timing of validation. There is literally nothing more infuriating than typing my first name and having the form throw a validation error before I've even finished typing the fourth letter.
It's awful. The technical best practice here is utilizing HTML constraint validation tied to a blur event.
A blur event.
Yeah, in developer terms, it means losing focus on the element. The form should wait patiently until the user has completely finished typing and physically moves their cursor or taps to the next field before it evaluates the input.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
Right. And the source also warns against overly aggressive formatting rules. Many tech-savvy users organize their inboxes using aliases with a plus sign, like name+newsletter@gmail.com.
I do that all the time to track who sells my data.
Exactly. And that is a perfectly valid formatting standard. Forms that reject those aliases are actively turning away high-intent users purely due to poorly written rejects.
Listening to the sheer complexity of all these layers, like evaluating accessibility colors, delaying validation triggers, pinging telecom databases, it begs a fundamental question.
Okay.
If every extra field we add to a form drastically drops our conversion rate, and if validating them requires this much engineering, shouldn't we just be ruthlessly demanding fewer fields instead of worrying about validating a dozen different inputs?
I completely agree. And the source distills this down to a brilliant guiding philosophy. The right question isn't what data would I like to have, but what data do I need now?
What data do I need now? I love that. If you only need an email address to initiate the relationship and send the welcome sequence, do not ask for their phone number, their company size, and their job title.
Validation technology works best when it acts as a helpful guide assisting the user to successfully provide the single most important piece of information.
Right.
It fails when marketers use it as an aggressive police officer guarding a massive demanding questionnaire.
So what does this all mean? If you're listening to this and auditing your own lead generation strategy right now, the ultimate takeaway is a fundamental shift in how you analyze your success metrics.
Yeah.
You have to stop celebrating pure volume. Capturing 5,000 leads is a completely meaningless vanity metric if 3,000 of them are bots, typos, and disposable ghosts.
This shift is moving toward measuring what the source calls the valid leads rate.
The valid leads rate.
Exactly. You take the number of mathematically and technically verified leads, and you divide that by your total form impressions. A simple, elegantly designed pop-up that captures fewer but 100% verified and deliverable leads is infinitely more valuable to your bottom line than an aggressive multi-field pop-up capturing thousands of useless database entries.
It's engineering quality over quantity directly into your marketing stack. But, looking at the absolute limits of what this sophisticated tech can do, there is a lingering reality check here.
There is, and it's a vital concept to mull over as we wrap up. We've spent this entire deep dive exploring how to guarantee a lead is technically valid. But a technically verified email address only proves that you can contact someone. It does not offer a shred of proof that they actually want to buy from you.
The gap between a technical ping and human desire.
It is the chasm between a valid lead and a commercial lead. Your APIs, your HLR lookups, your real-time server connections, they can guarantee the inbox exists and the phone will ring. But it is entirely on you, the marketer, to spark the human behavior, the trust, and the interest that actually results in a sale.
To bring it all back to that ad spend analogy from the start, validating your data stops you from printing blank checks. It ensures your infrastructure is sound and your emails will actually land in a real inbox. But you still have to write a check they actually want to cash.
The technology secures the connection. You have to deliver the value.
Something to keep front and center the next time you design a pop-up.